biologist and an army veteran, left alone in a mysterious zone where the laws of nature don't apply. Book of Recaps presents the movie name Annihilation. Lena, a scientist who studies living things and a soldier who fought in wars, is alive after a secret mission where others died. No one knows how. The government takes her to a special building and asks her questions. The man asking the questions, Lomax, wonders how Lena survived for 2 months with only enough food for 2 weeks. Lena says she doesn't remember eating anything on the mission. Lomax keeps asking questions, and Lena tries to remember what happened. A few years ago, a bright rock from space fell down to Earth and landed in an old tower with a light on the southern coast of the United States. Before the secret mission, Lena taught about living things at a famous university called Johns Hopkins. During one of her classes, she explained how a tiny living thing can keep splitting in two, making more and more of itself until it becomes all the different living things on Earth. After class, a man named Daniel, who works with Lena, invites her to a party for a few days. Lena makes up an excuse and says no. Daniel tells her it's been a year since her husband Kane died, and that it's okay for her to have fun with friends. Back at her house, Lena remembered happy times with Kane while getting ready to paint their bedroom. Kane, a soldier who wore a special green hat, had been missing for a long time after leaving for a secret mission. As Lena started painting, a man sneaked inside her house and went upstairs towards the bedroom. When he reached the door, Lena saw him and was shocked to see Kane standing there. She ran to him, crying, and hugged him tightly. Later, Lena asked Kane about his last mission, but he seemed confused and said he didn't remember where it was. She kept asking, but he kept saying he didn't know anything. When she asked how he got back, Kane just mumbled something about being outside their room. Before Lena could press further, he said he felt awful. An ambulance arrived, but on the way to the hospital, government agents stopped them. Lena tried to fight back as they pulled her away, so they gave her medicine to make her sleep, while others took Kane from the ambulance. When Lena woke up, she was in a strange government building called Area X. A woman doctor named Dr. Ventress came in and asked her what she knew about Kane's mission. Dr. Ventress, who works for a government agency called Southern Reach, tells Lena that Kane is also there, but very sick. Lena thinks it might be radiation or a germ and offers to help find out what's wrong. Ventress shows Lena a strange glowing area called the Shimmer. Shockingly, no one who goes in ever comes back. So far, it's only affected swampy areas with few people, but the doctor worries it'll spread further. Kane is the first and only person to escape the Shimmer, but his organs are failing. Ventress suggests Lena might not be able to leave because of what she knows. Lena insists on staying with her husband. Later that night, scientists meet Lena. They're all going into the Shimmer with Ventress in a few days. Unlike past groups of soldiers, this team is all women scientists. Lena asks what happened to the previous teams. Anya Thornton, a paramedic from Chicago, guesses something killed them inside. Or maybe they went crazy and hurt each other. Cass Shepard, a rock expert, mentions one soldier who escaped the Shimmer. Lena stays quiet, not revealing it was her husband. The next day, Lena asks Ventress to join the team. She claims she wants to go home, but it's a lie. She didn't tell the others about Kane because it could cause problems. The 5 women enter the Shimmer, but wake up in a camp with no memory of what happened. Based on their food, they figure they've been there at least 3 days. Josie Roddick, a scientist who studies energy, discovers their communication devices don't work in the Shimmer. Other things like cameras still work, but compasses are also messed up. They decide to head south using the sun and their watches. They find a hut covered in strange flowers, different types growing from the same branch. Lena realizes it's one plant constantly changing. Suddenly, something pulls Roddick underwater. They save her and see a giant, mutated alligator attacking. Lena shoots it repeatedly until it dies. Examining its teeth, she sees they're mutated. Back in the interrogation room, Lena tells Lomax they saw more weird animals. He thinks they might be imaginary, but Lena insists they all saw the same things. Using boats near the hut, the team finally escapes the swamp. Lena and Shepard rode together, chatting about their pasts. Lena admitted she was a soldier for 7 years and met her husband in the army. When Shepard pressed for details, Lena lied, saying he died in combat. Shepard confided that each of them had a reason for being on the expedition. Anya was overcoming an addiction, and Josie's scars hinted at a suicide attempt. Ventress remained an enigma, with no apparent family or friends. Shepard revealed the pain of losing her daughter to leukemia, forever changing her. They arrived at Fort Amaya, the former Southern Reach HQ now swallowed by the Shimmer. Lena noticed more mutated growths on the walls, like something cancerous. Inside, they saw evidence of the previous team using the fort as a base. They found a memory card and viewed it on Roddick's camera. The video showed Kane cutting open his teammate's stomach, revealing a wriggling worm-like creature. Shepard thought the last team went crazy and killed each other. Roddick disagreed, believing a creature lived inside the man. In another room, they found a corpse fused with a growing fungus. Roddick wanted to leave, but Ventress insisted darkness made it too risky. That night, Lena remembered her husband's sudden departure for a secret mission, leaving behind their dreams of a quiet life in the countryside. Unable to sleep, she checked her cell samples and saw them dividing rapidly. She then went to the lookout post, relieving Ventress so she could get some rest. After planning for the next day, Lena asks Ventress why her husband joined the mission. Ventress suggests a self-destructive urge, possibly linked to human nature. A loud noise from the outpost jolts them awake. Shepard investigates with them. Suddenly, a large creature attacks Shepard and drags her away. With Shepard missing, Roddick and Thornton want to return. Ventress, however, insists on reaching the lighthouse to learn more about the Shimmer. Lena pretends she wants to go back too, but argues they can escape by following the coast. 6 days to reach the fort and back for Shepard, versus 2 days to the coast, she reasons. Back in questioning, Lomax accuses Lena of lying. He believes she chose to keep going, despite the risk. Lena claims Ventress made the call. Lomax counters that Ventress is terminally ill and wouldn't have come back. Following the coast, they find Shepard's shoe. Searching the woods, Lena stumbles upon 2 deer, moving in perfect sync. Deeper in, she discovers Shepard's body torn apart. As night falls, they take refuge in an abandoned house. In the yard, they find plants eerily shaped like humans. Roddick theorizes the Shimmer isn't just blocking signals, but scrambling them. Light, radio waves, and even DNA. That night, memories of her affair with Daniel during Kane's absence haunt Lena. Fearing Kane knows, she tearfully tells Daniel it can't happen again. As the team sleeps, forensics finds Lena's necklace and a picture of her with Kane. Suspicious, she attacks Lena and ties her and the others to chairs. Realizing Lena lied, forensics doubts an animal killed Shepard. She recalls seeing Shepard moving earlier, hinting at madness, and suggests the last team either died by something or killed each other. Threatening Lena with a knife, they hear Shepard's voice outside. Forensics investigates, yelling for help repeatedly. A mutated bear roars in response. The creature enters the house, imitating Shepard's voice as it approaches the tied-up women. Forensics, injured by the bear, tries to fight back, but is brutally killed. Roddick breaks free and shoots the bear before it can attack Lena further. Ventress, fearing delays, decides to head to the lighthouse alone. Lena discovers mutations in her own blood. Roddick believes everyone will soon be affected. She examines the plant-like growths on her arm and walks away from Lena. Lena chases after her, but Roddick vanishes near the garden with human-shaped plants. Alone again, Lena reaches the coast and sees strange crystal trees near the lighthouse. Inside, she finds a burned skeleton holding a camera. The video shows Kane questioning his own identity. Fearing insanity, he prepares a grenade and tells someone off-camera to find Lena. He detonates it, burning himself. A mysterious figure approaches his body as the camera rolls. The figure turns around, revealing Kane's identical double. Lena stops the video and hears voices from a hole. Ventress, mutated and glowing, appears. Ventress warns that the mutation is spreading and will consume everything. Our bodies will be destroyed, she says. Just before disintegrating in a burst of light, Ventress warns of
annihilation.
The light transforms into different shapes, then absorbs blood from a cut on Lena's face. It morphs into a humanoid figure as the scene ends. Lena shot the figure that emerged from the hole, then climbed out. But something else was there, a being that mimicked her every move. It fought back when she attacked. Reaching the lighthouse door, Lena tried to escape, but the creature held her fast. Trapped and mirrored by the entity, Lena saw another phosphorus grenade. Pulling the pin, she placed it in the creature's hand, now a copy of herself. As she fled the lighthouse, the entity burned, igniting nearby mutated creatures. The shimmer began to shrink as the fire from the entity spread below. Back in the facility, Lomax asked Lena what the creature wanted. She didn't know. She felt it wasn't destructive. It seemed to be changing everything it touched, creating something new. Lomax revealed the lighthouse was in ashes. Surprisingly, the shimmer's disappearance stabilized Kane's condition, returning him to normal. Lena visited him, unsure if this was truly her husband. "I don't think so," he said, questioning his own identity. He asked if she was Lena, tears welling up. She didn't answer, but embraced him. As they held each other, both their eyes began a strange, continuous transformation. They looked at each other, and the movie ended.